Daily Manna from the Torah by Dr. Ketriel Blad. Shalom to all. We've come to the fourth Aliyah of Parashat VaYigash, and he approached. This fourth Aliyah is found in Genesis 45 from verses 19 to 27. Verse 27 will occupy us today. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Who is able to not be affected by circumstances? Our father Yaakov's spirit had been very still for 22 years. During this period of time, the Torah calls him Israel in some moments. 42:5, chapter 43:6, verse 8, verse 11, chapter 45:21. Leading us to believe that his spirit was not totally dead, nor that the spirit of the Eternal had left him completely. However, when he heard the news that Joseph was alive, he could suddenly understand all that had happened and the divine purpose behind the events that seemed so negative. His spirit recovered strength, revived, and the spirit of prophecy operated in him once again. The question that rises is if our father Yaakov couldn't have lived in the spirit for those 22 years in spite of the negative events, Rachel's premature death and Joseph's disappearance. Didn't he have enough promises and spiritual provision to be able to live above those negative circumstances? Certainly yes. If he had paid more attention to divine revelation, and if he had trusted in the Eternal's power and goodness, he would have spared himself and his family 22 years of bitterness. The Torah says that Yaakov refused being comforted. Chapter 37, verse 35. This teaches us that he decided to be negatively affected by what was happening, and he gave room to bitterness in his soul. What would have happened if he had kept a high spirit during those 22 years instead of refusing being comforted? What difference would that have made? Well, in regards to what happened to Joseph, there would have been no difference. The Eternal's plan was in action, and it had to be fulfilled. So, things would have gone the same with Yosef regardless of Yaakov's faith or mood, so that the children of Israel would go to Egypt. Then, if Yaakov would have been positive, given no room to bitterness, without accusing and scolding his sons, 42:1 and 42:36, they would have all been saved by Yosef anyways. So, if facing negative events with trust and confidence, or facing them in lamentation, would not have had any change in the final results, then what would be the difference if they would have been saved anyways? The difference would have been 22 years of joy and happiness, full of hope and praise in spite of the pain. Instead of 22 years of grief and sadness, full of despair and lamentation because of the pain. Because he chose the negative side, our father Yaakov allowed 22 years of his life to be dark instead of full of light. Hashem fulfilled his plan and promises anyhow. Blessed be his name. May the Eternal give us grace to trust in the middle of sorrow, knowing that for those who love the Almighty, all things work together for good, so His purposes are fulfilled in our lives. Romans 8, verse 28. Let's always be joyful. Shalom.